let's talk about AI. I'm sure you guys are very excited to hear what we have to say. But real quick, the Dave's Hot Chicken story is an amazing one. In 2017, we had 3 high school dropouts with $900 in their pockets that basically turned this brand into an international brand. Today we have 411 stores, and we open new stores every year, or every week, I should say. So that was an amazing story, and I'm so lucky to be part of it. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. So our problem is that 27% of our orders come from third-party delivery providers. And that's not really the problem, but the problem is that there's issues with marketing on those platforms. You know, it's like a big black hole. Visibility is always an issue because you just don't know where you are in the carousels or when certain keywords are searched for. And obviously, reputation management on a per-store basis is kind of difficult, right? You just go, why is it that one of my stores are high ranking while others are not, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's dig into the marketing piece. So as I mentioned, the marketing piece was a difficult one for us, specifically from an ROI perspective, right? The third-party delivery providers would love to take your money, and then they do their marketing strategies, and then they come back and tell you that they moved the needle. And then you hear from the franchisee, and the franchisee says, well, I just dumped a bunch of money into marketing, but nothing happened. So that was an issue that we wanted to solve for. And the marketing strategies on the third-party delivery provider side are one size fits all. Well, although we're running Dave's Hot Chicken stores across the chain, no 2 stores are alike, and no 2 demographic groups are alike, right? So how do you do marketing on a per-store basis and optimize that? Because at the end of the day, you're spending money, and you want to see that reward. And then cannibalization is a problem as well, right? Why offer somebody that's there to purchase your food anyway an offer? You're basically hurting your margins. So you kind of want to target those promotions to folks that may have probably not wanted to dine with you or didn't really know you, and you basically serve up a promo to draw them into your brand, and that's obviously the name of the game. And then lastly, visibility. Like, how do you end up on the top of the carousel or even be noticed, right? For folks that don't know about you or are curious about the brand but haven't tried it. So let's talk about our success criteria. We wanted to be able to test at scale. We didn't want to just test 1 or 2 stores and find a marketing promotion that worked. We wanted to test at a bunch of stores at the same time and kind of get some results back very quickly. And we wanted to be hyper-local focused, meaning that we wanted to run these promos on a per-store basis and do the A/B tests on a per-store basis to find out which promotion works for which store to optimize margin there. And our goal was to grow transactions and not check, right? We don't want to get another dollar out of you while you're shopping with us. We just want to bring in more people into the restaurant, into the ordering ecosystem. And lastly, we wanted transparency. We wanted to know when things worked and when things didn't work, and we wanted to trust the system that was helping us spend our marketing dollars. So then the solution was to use the agentic AI system that Loop has. I think I can name them because they're a sponsor. And if I don't, please don't shoot me. So we use their system, and their system basically does A/B testing on a per-store basis. Now, obviously, we had to basically select what kind of promos we wanted to run, just a type of promo, right? We don't do BOGOs and things like that, and we're not considered to be a discount brand. So we wanted to select the promos that weren't very discount forward, but we still wanted to draw people in. And so we wanted to select what offer we wanted to run and how much of that offer we wanted to run it for and when to run the offer, right? Because you don't want to just turn it on and have it run forever. For those of you that remember Econ 101 from college, we basically were chasing after the equilibrium, right? How much do you spend while optimizing your margins? That's basically where we wanted to go. So now let's talk about the results. We saw a 9.4% year-over-year increase in same-store sales on the 3PD side, For every dollar we spent for marketing, we got $3 back. And we improved margin by 1% because we were running promos when we needed to run the promos, and all this stuff happened automatically. So there was hardly any human intervention in the loop. So then beyond just the marketing stuff that I'm talking to you about, this platform also helps with operations and finance. From an ops perspective, when the 3PDs shut you down, it figures out why you were shut down. Maybe, a couple third-party delivery drivers don't like your brand and they just mark you closed, and then the 3PD shuts down your store. So it determines why the store was shut down and whether or not to turn it back on and when to turn it on, right? Because when you're busy and it gets shut down, you probably want the system to sleep for like 15 minutes or 30 minutes until you get caught up and then to turn it on. So it has those types of smarts that turns it back on. I'm using very technical words with smarts. And obviously on the finance side, it helps with, or actually takes over the entire reconciliation process. I remember when we first started working with the third-party delivery providers, our finance department was pulling their hair out trying to figure out, how do we reconcile this stuff? There's all kinds of, there's commissions and promotions and, you know what I mean? Like, how do I book this stuff? And so the system obviously handles that. But more importantly, I don't know if anyone's crazy enough to do it, but it also gives you P&L analysis on every single check that it ran a promo on. But what's important there is that you get to rack and stack your stores and see what stores are sort of underperforming in comparison to the entire cohort. And that's when you use the marketing expertise to basically dig into those stores and find out, well, why are they underperforming? Is it optimized, but the store's a low volume store, or is it not resonating with the customer? What do we do? So talk about using marketing labor or human capital when you actually need to use it, rather than having to do adding a bunch of headcount when a machine can do it for you. And obviously, during this entire week, we've all talked about security behind AI. So obviously, as a technologist, my one question, I couldn't care less about the other stuff. I was like, is it secure? Are we gonna have a data leak somehow? Like, this just sounds really shady. What if the thing just starts hallucinating and causes losses? But it was mostly security based. So I was happy to find out that these guys are ISO 27001 certified. And for those of you who don't know, I didn't know, so I had to look it up. It basically means it's an international standard of information security that relates to data confidentiality and integrity and availability. So that was good enough for me. And then the system is also very role-based. So, we give the GM access to whatever they need to have access to versus the franchisee versus our finance department or ops department. So the system has been very secure, very successful for us. And if anyone knows Dave's, we test a lot of things and we only roll out stuff that either increase efficiency or have a very strong ROI, and this thing is definitely a no-brainer for us.